morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead / Papaw's place. Guys, this morning we're going to start out with looking at wick pots and what I think about them and explain to y'all on how I made them. Now, I got a video that I'm going to replay some clips on, and I attach that video above if you want to go back and watch the full video on making these wick pots. But a lot of people question me and ask me what I think about these wick pots and how they do. So we're going to take a closer look at them. Now guys, as y'all can see, and you watch my videos, I got several wick pots. And for example, I'm over here in the shade this morning. This wick pot here is a strawberry sitting on top of the barrel just because I wanted it up high. There's a wick pot with some onions in it. Look out through there, I get different wick pots all throughout the garden. So one of the things when you make a wick pot, and like I said, I'm going to attach a clip out of a video I made. You're going to put you a hole in here, and that's going to depend on what you putting in the bottom of it. But I mine somewhere around 4 inches. Because in this one here, I got some jugs in the bottom that's higher than this hole. And in that video, you're gonna see whatever you put in the bottom, you wanna drill holes in the top of it, and you wanna air gap. So when them jugs fill up with water, but you put a pipe down in there, and that's how you fill them up with water. And you fill it up until water comes out this hole. Therefore, there's a gap in there. And when you put that water in that pipe, it's gonna fill it up. And you're gonna have holes in the bottom of your jugs or whatever you're using in the inside. It'll fill up till it gets to that height, but then you got holes in there in your jugs that will let it be an air gap between here. Also, you're gonna cover them jugs in there with some filter cloth. That way when you put your soil in there, it won't let the soil settle down. But anyway, y'all can go back and watch that video on how to make these wick pots. But what I wanted to talk to y'all about the wick pots is what I think about them. Like I said, I got a video on how to make them. I attach above and you can go back and watch that. So I ain't going that in depth about that. But how do they work? How good do they work? Well guys, they work extremely well. But when you get up in the upper 90s here in Louisiana, you still have to water them just about every day, especially if you got a tomato plant in them or a squash or something that uses a lot of water. You still got to put water in them every day. It's just going to depend on where you live and where your temperature is of what you need, how often you need to water it, I mean. But mine has all done well. Like I said, you just got to stay on top of them and water them a lot. Now, I like my raised beds, the 5-foot round raised beds, I like them better because I can water them. They hold water, and I like them better than the pots. But for room wise, I like my pots set up for smaller things than that. So I just wanted to touch base on that because someone's questioned me about it, what I thought about them, how I like them, and how they work. They work extremely well. Like I said, if my video don't explain it good enough for you, if you'll go out and check out Mr. Leon's Gardening. He's an older gentleman. I think he's in Oklahoma, if I ain't mistaken. He's got a lot of videos on making wick pots and different ways that you can make them and different materials you can use. But if y'all will, go check that out. And guys, I'm filming this part of this video this morning. But the gardening part that y'all finna see coming up, the update on the garden, that was filmed late yesterday evening after the sun went down. And I got interrupted and I didn't get to finish my video like I had planned, so that's why this is broke up in a morning and a day, because I know some of you paying close attention and y'all gonna say, well, he's out there in the bright sunshine, and in the other video I talk about it ain't rain, but we did get a little shower last night and such. But anyway, I just wanted to explain that part to you, that this is broke up in the one morning and one evening, and the morning's the first part of the video and yesterday evening was the second part of the video. Guys, look at these summer dance cucumbers, how much they've grown in the last 7 days. We have got, I think, a total of about 8 cucumbers in the last 7 days. And I'm not gonna get y'all up in there and show you, but it is a bunch of cucumbers on here now. I was trying to count them earlier, and they was just too many for me to keep up with counting. I'm gonna say there's approximately 20 on there right now. It's just amazing. This hot weather made them cucumbers jump. We'll go look at these other cucumbers. Now these cucumbers right here are the Ashley cucumbers. This will be a new one to me. I ain't never eat. I picked 2 off today. I'm gonna eat in a salad tonight and see what they taste like. But they got several more cucumbers on there, and you can see there's one right there. Probably tomorrow evening it'll be big enough to pick, if not the next day. But it amazes me what that hot weather did. But now for my cauliflower, the hot weather ain't doing it so good. And I don't think I'm gonna make no cauliflower this year, because it ain't even started making no heads. And you can see I put a shade cloth over it, and plus it's behind these trees. Same thing with my Brussels sprouts. They growing, far still growing, but you can see the heat's getting to them. And they just now making little bitty Brussels sprouts, so don't think I'm gonna get no Brussels sprouts this year, but we're gonna let them continue. But guys, for my Catarina cabbage, as you can see, they making some heads, cause like I said, these ain't supposed to get about 5-inch heads. So ain't gonna be long. These 2 right here is gonna be ready to pick. And I'm excited, because that's some fine eating cabbage right there. Here's another head. And that right there, it's just now making a little head. That there's got about a 3-inch head, so it'll probably end up being a cabbage. There's another one. So out of about 8 or 10 in there, looks like there's about 6 or 7 that I think's gonna make it. Now over here with the green magic broccoli, you can see it's growing good. And it's just now starting to make some little heads down in there. This is supposed to be some heat tolerant. And there's got a little head. But I don't know how heat tolerant. But we're gonna let the green magic broccoli grow. See what it does and what it tastes like when she gets done. What are you doing, Drake? There's y'all a little shot of the gardening. Musky dimes is doing good. It's gonna make several little clusters of musky dimes there. Gonna be enough for me to make some more jelly this year. There's a rainbow chard. It's still doing good in the heat. Y'all can see I got a few holes in the leaves. I ain't sure if that's flea beetles or exactly what that is, but I sprayed today with some spinosad. And guys, I'm gonna show y'all these 2 green egg squash. We done got 2 off of there, and there's 4 more, 5 more on this one. But y'all see them right there? In a couple more days, they'll be about the size of the one I'm finna show you. I didn't eat one, but I got one I'm gonna show y'all. Them things are good on the grill. That right there will be a couple more days, it'll be ready. You want them about 5 inches long and about 3 inches in diameter, about that big around. But that's the green egg squash. My early doll tomatoes. Pretty. Got a whole bunch of tomatoes up in there. More clusters there. Lots of tomatoes on that one. That's the early doll, D-O-L-L. The update over here on the butterhead lettuce, you can see the heat's making them get loose, but like that right there, guys, it's good to eat. That right there I'm finna cut as soon as I get done with the video. There's a couple more in there that needs cut. But they went on, you see the difference. If you remember from last week's video to this, how much that growed. The romaine lettuce. Yeah, I got a couple of heads here, but you can tell with the heat now, they're a little looser than they need to be. Normally they'd be a little tighter. But guys, so far I've been sampling it and it ain't got bitter on me yet. As long as it ain't bitter, we good to go. There's several heads right there that need to be cut. We'll be giving away lettuce again, looks like. This cucumber right here was the early spring. I ain't got but a couple off of it. And you can see here's a couple right here. This is a new variety to me. As I was telling y'all last week, I think it was last week. Now I've sampled these and they taste about what we call the straight 8s. Ain't nothing spectacular for a slicing cucumber, just a cucumber. But they ain't near about as good as them summer dance if you like just cut up cucumbers. Now you can see my mustard greens here. I just let them go. And the bugs, that's where the bugs really started to work on them. So I'm just letting them go, and my thought is let whatever eating them, I think it's flea beetles, but you come out here and look, you don't see much of anything. You might see a few flea beetles, a few white flies, just a few, but I think that's what's eating them up. Y'all can see. So they're no good no longer, so I'm just letting them grow. One day I get tired of just letting them grow and I cut that down and me and my bed back up there, let it rest for the summer. I got my sweet potato slips planted in the tire this week. See how many potatoes I can get out of that little truck tire. Now guys, that's an 18-wheeler truck tire, and you just cut the sidewall out of it on the top side. And what's good about that, it's still got the sidewall on the bottom down there, so that helps hold water. But my red Lesotho taters, they got so tall and was so pretty, they got so tall they fell over, so they look hollow in the middle. Plus this heat here, you can see in the middle some of that down there on the bottom was kind of dying. So I give them a good soaking. I've been watering a little every other day, but I give them a soaking while I go. But there's still plenty of taters growing. I'm telling you, they was 3 foot tall and they just fell over. Kind of the same way over here in this tractor tire. You can tell they like prettier and growing. But they falling over the edge and it kind of opening the center up. And it ain't so pretty down in there. But ain't nothing eating on them. I ain't found many. I mean, you got a few leaves, got some little holes. That's why I think it's flea beetles on all this stuff. But you go to looking, I can't find them. Then we got our onions. This is our Baldalia onions and our Texas Grands. You can see some of them getting bigger. They still looking good and still growing. Ain't starting to die off on me or anything. The little turnip greens over here, after I give them a haircut the other day and got all them greens, you can see I've been keeping them watered and boy, they coming right back. Now some of them's got a little yellow tint to them, but I give them a good heavy watering in a couple of days they'll be getting green back up. But boy, I keep giving them haircuts and keep eating fresh greens until they start getting a bitter taste to them. You never know how long stuff like that'll go. And guys, when somebody tells you you can't grow greens, and when they get hot they don't taste good, that is true. But just because another person tells you that, don't mean you don't need to try it yourself. And the reason being, my neighbor right down the road could grow these greens, and you could go down there and his may be so bitter by now you can't eat them. Or so strong, I call it bitter. And mine might be good, or vice versa. You get so many people saying, well, you know, and I'm using examples here. I use this here Fertilizer, boy, it really does good. This is what you need to use. But guys, that might work for them. It may not work on you, and you might live next door. It's just depending on what your soil is and what's in your soil. Here's my tip blue blueberries. Guys, they loaded for a little bitty bush. I can't wait to get them ready to make me some more jam out of. And this one over here, that's the Premier. And our tomatoes back here on the back fence. They ain't putting on many tomatoes yet, but my goodness, they 6 foot tall, guys. I'm 5'10" and a half, and that's a little bit over my head. They got several tomatoes on them though. There's a cluster down there on the bottom, cluster on the side, cluster right there, and a cluster on the far side. I don't know if y'all can see that over there. One right there on top. That's the Kellogg's breakfast. And I know I'm supposed to be in a big tomato growing contest, and a person that's trying to grow a big tomato ought to be pulling all of his tomatoes off but the biggest one. But I just want to grow the biggest tomato normally, I guess. I don't know. Here's a lollipop I had extra. You can see it's then jumped about another foot tall. Then we got a big Zack. That's the other one I'm in the tomato growing competition with Travis over at Lazy Dog Farms. But I still got plenty because I got another plant big like this, and then I got a young plant coming on. If I don't see nothing I want to try to make into the big tomato. Like I said, I'm wanting some tomatoes right now, so I'm just letting them all stay on there. My young plant I'll focus on getting the big tomato off of. By the way, y'all go over to Lazy Dog Farm. Y'all leave a comment and tell him Papaw said hello. I want to see his Kellogg's breakfast and his big Zack tomato, because for some reason he ain't been showing that on his videos. He shows everything, but he ain't talking about it. So that makes me think he's up to something. This right here is a tropical sunset, little cherry tomato. Then we got our Cherokee stuck off back here on the fence. Let's see what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I see 12 tomatoes on there. Still got some blooms on top. Cluster of blooms down here. That's another one. That's another little cherry tomato, Brad's Atomic Grape. And this one on the end down here, guys, is a brandywine. And you see it's got some blooms on it. And it's got about 4 foot tall, but it ain't no tomatoes on there. But this tomato don't get much sun at all. You see these trees right here, that's on the east side of it. This big tree's on the west side of it. It only gets about maybe an hour and a half of direct sunlight. And that's kind of a test I'm wanting to do for myself. I'm wanting to see what they do down here in the shade. Because I'm thinking, as hot as our summers is getting, I'm wanting to see what's the least amount of direct sunlight you can grow tomatoes in. So that Cherokee right there, it don't get but about 2 hours of direct sunlight, and you see the tomatoes on it. No, it might get 3, because it's got a little opening in these trees, so it might get about 3 hours of direct sunlight. It's about all it gets. But you see it's got tomatoes on it. So I like doing little tests like that for myself. I guess I'm one of them that when people say you can't do something, or you need to do this, or you gotta do that, I'm like, I have to prove it to myself. And guys, my yellow squash, I about done give up on them. Matter of fact, I did give up on them. I planted a couple up there in the ground, in my in-ground garden where I raised them last year, and they done so good. Cause I done got, I'm like, something with this new bed I made right here. This soil just ain't too good. Cause this ain't under the shade. This here gets about 6 hours of sunlight, so it gets plenty of sunlight. But they were slow taking off. Now I got 4 off of there a couple days ago we eat for supper. There's one right there, one down there, one over yonder, another baby right there. I see 2 or 3 right in there. So I don't know why they were so slow taking off. I think they were stunted because when I put them out, it was still too cool. And I think it kind of stunted my plants and made them get behind. But there's people around here that's got squash planted, that planted before I put them out, and theirs is doing good. So I done give up on the little babies. Now this is my lettuce over here, my air conditioner bed, I call it. Guys, if you watched that video where I done that lettuce harvest, I cut all this about 2 inches high. And look at that. In approximately 5, 6, I can't remember how many days it is. It ain't over 7 days. That stuff just went to jumping. And it still tastes good. Now outside that fence, that's my 2. I got 2 of them. That's my 2 zucchinis. And we done got 1 big zucchini off of it and 1 small one, and there's 3 more on that one already. And actually there's 1 over there. It's probably tomorrow or the next day's gonna need harvest. I let my zucchinis get a little bit bigger before I harvest them. All this lettuce right here, guys, was cut down. You can see the cut marks. That's where they was cut about 5 to 6 days ago. Every one of them. And that's how much is growing back. Now my radishes that was down there in the bottom, I went on and pulled them up, because when it starts getting this hot, radishes get real woody and I don't like them. I ordered went on and pulled up them beets, because they'll be woody the same way. I'm just letting them grow because they still pretty, and because that ain't yellow leaves, guys. That's different colors on them leaves. It's got a few little dead leaves down here on the bottom. But I've been just letting them grow, but they probably gonna be too woody to eat. This lettuce right here was the same way. I cut it down when I done that green and lettuce harvest the other day, and it's jumping back. But whether the lettuce gets bitter or not, I'm gonna let it grow as long as it grows, because I feed that to my rabbits for snacks. There's a Indian straight tomato. And I know I'm behind lots of people, but I'm excited how much my stuff has grown in the last 7 days. And this is my tomato on the barrel. This is the early doll. There's 3 tomatoes in there. The one hanging over here, of course, is the oldest one. And it's got lots of tomatoes on it. But when you grow them on a barrel like that, I got one of them tubs sitting on top of a barrel, and that way you just let them fall over and hang over. And hang and grow. It's working good so far. I done that last year. I don't know if it may be my 3rd year of doing this. One with the tomato and one with the cucumbers over there. And my strawberries. Well, we skipped my other strawberry bed over there. Didn't talk about them, but the strawberries, I got a quart bag froze up, and I know we've had to eat 2 more quarts, because we had one big bowl that we fixed up with some berries and stuff and ate. And then, yeah, it's been about, off these 2 little beds, about three good quarts of strawberries off of them. But they ain't been the best tasting strawberries. I think I may have put a little too much fertilizer either. Because I did fertilize these with some triple 13 early in the spring. But for the most part, guys, I've been just using rabbit manure and rabbit manure tea to fertilize. Now, when I planted my tomatoes and plant stuff in the ground, yes, I put triple 13 and I put a little calcium under stuff and do that. But once I do my planting, then I try not to use no more fertilizer. I'm trying to do this year with nothing but my rabbit manure and my rabbit manure tea. And so far, everything's looking pretty good. There's y'all a shot of the tomatoes, how much they've jumped down through there. My onions. Like I said, every other one of these is Vidalia onions. And you can tell, because the ones that's smaller is the ones I started from seed, some of them Texas Grands. And then every other one there is them white Vidalia onions. Now that one right there, that purple one's one I done, but it come hope. Actually, I don't know, they kind of about even. You got some that not as big as the others on both varieties. But this is the first year I ever planted onions in a row, or in that other bed I was showing y'all earlier, trying to let them get bigger. I always just planted them as a bunch of onions, and we wasn't worried about the size, because we just took them out and cut them up when we got ready to use them to cook with. Guys, my rattlesnake green beans here has went to jumping. They like that heat this week. You can see they wrapped all the way up here and about 3.5 foot tall now, coming up both sides. So it won't be long, they'll be all the way over that little cow panel trellis. That's the rattlesnake green beans. This here is supposed to be the Kentucky Wonders. And they ain't starting to wrap the vine yet. I'm gonna have to get down there and see if I can train them and hold them over there. Them on that side starting to wrap the vine a little bit. Eggplants. And here's my other rattlesnake green beans. But they looking good. I just want to give y'all an update. What's going on out here. Now them little onion chives right over here in my little pipe. Wick pipe bed I made there. I done give them a haircut twice. We ain't eating them. And they start getting big. Of course, you can see all the ones dying in them from all the heat and stuff. So I done give them a haircut again. But we got time. It ain't the best looking because it's been so hot and dry. It ain't handling the heat good, and plus I wasn't keeping it watered enough, I don't think. Now the parsley is looking beautiful. Oregano. And garlic chives, that's the one that we dug into that bed and busted it up, and I took a big chunk and planted it somewhere else, and Miss Lippy and Buddy took a big chunk home with them. So I replanted that pot. Cilantro. Some of that I started from seed, but you can see it's bolting. I don't even know why I'm fooling with all that stuff. I don't even eat it. We got more dehydrated and we eat it in the next 4 or 5 years already. There's my lavender. Another lavender and a little pansy. And a little waterfall planter. Guys, that was one of them little waterfalls. They sell where the little water trickles down it and you set it by your patio or whatever, where the little motor went out of it. So I just made a little flower pot out of it. Another lavender, some more oregano. I know this is a gardening video, but let me give y'all a little peek of my baby quails out here in the brooder. I need to check on them anyway. Yeah, how you little fellas doing? You got more in the incubator. You got 2 more incubators going. Got 30 eggs each in them. So I'm steady hatching out tuxedo quails and jumbo wows. That little brown one right there by the running off right there, that's a jumbo wow. There's a jumbo wow. I just mix eggs as they lay them. I just put them in the incubator. Don't mind what variety they are. They all hatch in 18 days, approximately 18 days. They got some water here, but I'm gonna put a little bit more in their little cup. But that's the baby quails. Let's go to Collins. But guys, I know I got a lot of new viewers watching my gardening videos, seeing what's going on, and I appreciate y'all viewing. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please reach down there and hit that subscribe and ring that bell. It don't cost you a thing. If you like these videos and you know anyone else that you might think likes watching my videos, please like and share my videos on your social media. That's the best way you can help me. And guys, appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all have a blessed week. God bless. See y'all next time.